the Sugar Mill community is so very fortunate to have you as a leader. What would you say to your community who's going to be watching this?
Oh, I
your
love
students and your parents and your teachers.
I love it. I can't brag enough about the Sugar Mill community. I love the fact that they have helped me embrace the challenge of helping our students make growth. I would challenge all of our Fort Bend ISD community schools, not just mine, but all of our parents and the community to just get involved in schools. Let students understand that we as parents and community members value what Fort Bend ISD is putting out there. Having them understand that that we need their help and they should lean in, even though it's hard and difficult as a parent. Lean in and let's get the work done together because our children are worth it.
Well, hello, everybody. It is so good to be back. The summer was fast and furious. This is the Superintendent Podcast. It's called SuperIntentional. And it's called SuperIntentional because we are intentional about the work that we're doing in our school district. This is an opportunity to showcase individuals and programs and students and all the great things that are going on in Fort Bend ISD. I had a great summer. This summer was really about rest and recovery and then just leveling up and focusing on this upcoming school year. So we are ready to go. We've had a lot of changes over the summer. One of the changes is within our police department. And so we went through this rigorous process for several months. And we were so fortunate to find our next police chief, Chief Anthony Sanders. It is so good to have you here on the podcast, and I'm looking forward to being able to spend just a few minutes learning who you are, giving our community and our audience an opportunity to hear from you about your transition into Fort Bend ISD. Welcome to Fort Bend ISD.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Glad to be here.
So let's jump right into it.
Okay.
You know, you've only been here for a couple of months now, but first, let's just kind of take a reset and for me and those that may be listening to the podcast, kind of give us a history. What was your journey and your trajectory toward before coming to Fort Bend ISD?
Wow. Long trajectory, long. It started out as a child getting interested in the police department. They had a police explorer program back in my hometown in Gastonia, North Carolina. And so I was running around, playing around with my buddies. This police officer in the area, he would always talk to us and come out, and that was really community policing really back then. Mm-hmm. I don't think it was necessarily called that. And so he started asking me about the, hey, what do you want to do with your life? And I said, I don't really know. I'm just having fun. And he said, well, we have this Police Explorer program. Is that something you'd be interested in? And I'm thinking, oh, well, I don't know about all that. So later on, I eventually joined that program. And then once I did my first ride-along, it was over. And then I got just acquainted with the profession, the people, and then I knew right then and there that's what I wanted to do for the rest of my life.
That's awesome.
Joined the military in '92. I was stationed in California for 4 years, and then I transferred to Texas in 1996. And then I got out in '01. I joined the Corpus Christi Police Department, and then I was there for 24 years. And then I retired here recently, and now I'm here in Fort Bend as the chief.
We're excited to have you. That's an awesome story. You know, many of us have a story that we look back on and say that was the key event that kind of sparked a fire. You know, I remember I have my own story with my middle school coach back in the day that sparked this fire in me to, be an athlete and pursue athletics. So it's good to hear your journey was very similar and that you had someone that brought this to you. And it's a reminder of mentors, which we're going to talk about here in a little bit, someone that, can really be a bridge to a person at a very influential stage in their life where they're trying to figure out what they want to do and where they want to go. Well, I'm glad you chose the police industry, or I guess the police industry chose you.
Yes, sir.
However that worked out.
A little bit of both.
I'm glad
yes,
it
sir.
happened.
It's good.
So Fort Bend ISD. So let's talk about the transition from serving in a municipal capacity versus a school district capacity, especially one of the largest school districts in the state of Texas. What's your early thoughts about the transition?
That's a good question. A lot of people, even in the profession, they think there's this big divide and gap between municipal and school policing. It's really not. It's no different really than me transferring to another bureau and having to learn the nuances of that. But there are some things that are different. But to me, basic leadership and policing, to me, is the same. So I have to come in and learn those things with the team. I can't, and my whole philosophy has been don't go in like you know every single thing. Mm-hmm. And really the person that knows the most really knows nothing. Mm-hmm. So my approach has always been that. Go in, learn. My grandmother would say you have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. Mm-hmm. And I try to utilize that. And then we just do it together. We learn together as a team.
Yeah. How do you change the narrative about policing? In the world we live in today, there's some distrust out there. And then even when you talk about students, being intentional about building those relationships so that they know that you and your department is here to serve and not necessarily police, if that makes sense. Kind of walk us through what that looks like in real time working with students.
It just starts with trust. It starts with trust within, I think, first the department. And so I have to come in with, clear expectations, flexible pathways to get to those expectations. And then once we do the internal pieces and processes, and it's procedural justice really, but just internally, once we get those things done, fair processes, treat everybody the same, then we can push that mindset when we go to work. Then we build bridges with the stakeholders. We make sure that we're doing the things we need to do. And again, that's more trust. So that when things happen, they don't fear calling us. Mm-hmm. The kids don't fear coming up to us. And so when there's that sort of atmosphere of trust, I think that's when everything starts clicking.
Yeah. I know you mapped out a very comprehensive 90-day plan of transitioning into the district. Give us some insight into what are the things you're learning, what are you seeing, what are some of the fresh ideas that you may potentially bring, to the department and the district?
This is a really good police department. That's one of the things I learned when I first got here. The people are great. They're eager to learn and to teach me. And so, but with leadership styles, some things are different. Me, I like processes and I like things to be properly done and, policies that are consistent and things of that nature. So the first 90 days, it's an evaluation period. I want to look at all the police cars. I want to look at the uniforms. I want to meet all the people. And at some point throughout the season, I'll do one-on-ones with every single person, civilian and sworn, meet stakeholders. Today I got a meeting with the DA's office. I'm meeting with some police chiefs on Friday for lunch. And so it's just a matter of just being available, making sure I have those connections locally because you can't do things by yourself. Mm-hmm. And so for this first 90 days or so, I'm just evaluating pretty much everything. But it starts internally with the people. Yeah. I want to make sure they're fine. Yeah.
That's a good sign of leadership because, I always say, leaders have to be intentional about how they enter into a new role. And it sounds like you're taking some very measured steps coming into the district, and that's so very important. Safety is the top priority for all of us. We live in a world today where, every day is a day that we can't take for granted. And it's all about protecting our staff and our students. We have a large school district, lots of facilities. What are your thoughts as you just kind of take your first initial look about safety?
Initially, all the protocols and safety procedures are in place. And like I said, going back to, before I got here, this is a good department to come into. So all those things such as, the audits and technology and things of that nature are in place. Now, does that mean, hey, we're good? It does not, because technology, as we know, by the time it's here, it's, end of life tomorrow. So technology-based, but intelligence-led, moving forward. There's a lot of different things such as, cameras and, AI and just various things that we can do to help sort of just manage our, span of control and then just have something that we can add on to.
Yeah.
Force multiplier for us.
Yeah, I think about our camera system. When you think about just the sheer number of facilities that we have in a district our size, and the who, the what, the when, the where, and the how in terms of monitoring all the cameras. You may not have dug into all of that just yet and have deep command of that, but just thinking about managing all of that, that's got to be a huge task for the boots on the ground handling that.
It is, but the good thing is there are people in the right places to be able to manage different pieces of that. So the tech team, they're solid. The people that are going around doing the various inspections, the replacement of things that happen in facilities. So the network within the district is just really, really good.
Yes. And, we're continuing with partnering with our security officers to ensure that we have an armed officer at all of our elementary campuses. I want to hear your thoughts on that and how you think that program is going to be working and supporting us moving forward.
I think it's great. I met with them a couple of weeks ago, and when I talked to them, I wanted them to know you're not just a security guard, you're an officer. So I want you to sort of, because it goes in, it's a mindset. If you go in thinking, I'm just a security officer, and then you're going to work that way, you're going to perform that way. So the same processes and procedures and standing orders that we've been sort of working to pass out to the officers, I gave to them. I said, I want everyone to be on the same page with this. This is our philosophy. This is our CASA philosophy. And then let's move forward, and then let's just be one. Because at the end of the day, when there's a threat, they're not going to come ask questions. Are you a security officer? And so, but I want them to know we're all one team. We're not separated.
Yes. You and I both like sports, and sports has a lot of crossover into our regular everyday life. And so in sports, sometimes you're up and you're winning. Sometimes you have a turnover. Sometimes you're on a losing streak. And life sometimes is a lot like that. So just as a leader, as Chief Anthony Sanders, the leader, how do you navigate when things are going really well, when you face a roadblock? How do you lead people through chaos, if you will, and through turbulent times? Because that's when really you need leadership, strong leadership the most.
I think when you come in, sort of the way I have and sort of instilled, and, we have our core values together. We have our processes that we've done together. We're building every single thing together so that when these incidents do take place or when something happens, then we're together. Because sort of the sports analogy, you're going to perform how you train. And so if you're not practicing your free throws, well, then don't be surprised when you don't make any. So it's sort of the same thing here. If we just have the mind, and it's a sort of winner's mentality. Some people just go into situations already thinking, I've lost. And so I think it first starts with the mindset. So if you go in thinking as a winner, you're going to perform as a winner.
Absolutely.
But we do it as a team.
Yeah, mindset is so very important. I know for me, I'm always coaching myself. I tease people around here. If you see me walking down the hall and I'm talking to myself, first, I am talking to myself. But I'm probably coaching. I'm probably self-talking and self-coaching. And so what are the things that you do to motivate yourself, to get you to be on your A game every day when you show up?
That's a good question. What I like to sort of tell myself is, or just sort of, I'm comfortable being uncomfortable. And so what that just means is I just can't sit around and, okay, hey, we got this, and then I'm good. I just have to just keep making sure that you keep challenging yourself and what's next and planning ahead and gaming ahead. So for me, I self-motivate myself that way, but then I like to write things down, notes, and then I push things out and let's talk about it. But again, because it's not just hey, we're going to do this. Hey, what do you think about this? We got to do it as a team. So I think that's probably the main thing, just comfortable being uncomfortable.
Absolutely. That's a good skill to have because, a lot of our work is pushing through those uncomfortable moments and those uncomfortable times. And so that's good to know. Well, I got to ask this now. I've always wanted to be an author and write a book. I hadn't got there yet. Maybe one of these days.
Yes, sir.
But you have to tell us about your venture into authorship and writing your own book. So So tell us about that.
Yes, sir. So I think I have the book here. Let me see.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is it. This is A Journey for Journey.
Okay.
Journey is my granddaughter's name. And what sort of sparked this was I was holding her a couple of years ago, and she was just curious about all the shiny stuff and the badge and this, that, and the other. And I started thinking to myself, what is she going to be told about me as a police officer and, my profession and my friends later? Because like you said earlier, it is a time where it's just sort of a lot of things are negative, when it comes to the police. So I wanted to write a book to her to kind of just have a conversation and let her know myself.
That's awesome.
What we do.
That is awesome. And did she approve of your book?
She approves of it.
Okay.
Yes, sir. She does. She's 4 now, but it's just one of those things where she knows it's her. She knows it's me. And so I think the story in it just helps, just reinforce some of those things that we talked about earlier about being approachable. This is what we do. We help people. We talk about the superpowers that we have as police officers. And so yes, sir, she's aware that it is her on
That's
there.
great.
She loves it.
Well, Chief, we can tell just in the short time that you've been in the district, have, a heart for kids, have a heart for people, and very sensitive to wanting to be sure that you listen and seek first to understand. All of those are great attributes that are going to be of great benefit to Fort Bend ISD. And so we're just excited about the work that you're going to do in the district. I'm looking forward to bringing you back, and we'll have a much deeper conversation about where you are at that point in your tenure. And we'll make this a regular opportunity for you to be able to share with our public the things that you're doing to keep Fort Bend ISD staff and students safe.
Yes, sir. I can't wait.
It was great to have you.
Thank you, sir.
So this is the Superintendent Podcast. It's called SuperIntentional, where we are intentional about leadership and leadership topics. So this is my favorite part of the podcast, where I get to answer questions from students and staff and even sometimes parents out in the Fort Bend ISD community. Let's roll the videos.
Hi, Dr. Smith. This is JJ from Fort Bend ISD Police Department. I know what I'm going to wear every morning, but how do you choose a bow tie?
Well, let me tell you, I've gotten quite a collection over the years, and my collection has increased even more since I've come to Fort Bend ISD. I need to give thanks to our principal, Carla Patton, for that at Ferguson Elementary, because when I got here last year, guess what she did? She initiated this idea of National Bow Tie Day. And boy, when I tell you, the bow ties came flooding in, and to this day, I still get a lot of bow ties. So I have a lot to choose from, and so I have so many. I try to coordinate colors and shirts, and if I have a light shirt, blue shirt on, but it's good to have a lot of options. So the thing for me is I have a lot of options, and it's just fun being able to pick out different color patterns in the morning as I'm trying to get myself ready for the workday.
Hello, Dr. Smith. I am Caden Riley, the student body president at Ridgepoint High School. Your leadership style is based on professionalism, accountability, communication. How can students use those values and put it into effect in our schools and the community to grow as future leaders?
Well, students, even now in the role that you're in today, professionalism is important, that you show up, that you're timely, that you take pride in the work that you do each and every day, that you start to really build those professional attributes that are going to be so critical for you, not only now, but when you transition after high school into college and beyond. There's going to be an expectation for you to be professional. And then think about accountability. Accountability is a lifelong attribute that all of us have to really embrace. And so for now, at the stage you're in, having accountability is so important. Again, that's taking ownership for who you are, for the work that you do, and for how you show up each and every day. Those things are going to help you to be successful, not only in high school right now, but in college and beyond. And then think about this, communication. That's really the engine that gets everything going, because it's a people business. It's a people world. We all work with and through people. And so the way you work with and through people successfully is by being an effective communicator. And a communicator doesn't always mean doing the talking. A lot of times it means listening and getting feedback. And for high school leaders today, that is so very important for you. So not only will the PAC help you succeed right now where you are in the space you're in, but it's a building block that's going to set you up for success as you move forward in your career. So keep prioritizing the PAC.
Hi, Dr. Smith. My name is Benjamin Gray Willis from Colony Meadows, and I have a question for you. How was your summer?
So the summer was great. It was very fast, but it was great. I got a lot of time to see family, spend time with family, get a little travel in, and play a little golf, which I like to do. And so it was a time of resting and recovery. And some of the things, you know how you have things you have to do around the house, I got a few of those things done too. Although I'm sure my wife would have wanted me to do more. But that's for another conversation. I had a great summer, got a lot of rest, and really recharged, ready to start the school year.
Hi, my name is Claire Noble. I am 10 years old, and I go to Colony Meadows Elementary School. And I have a question for you. What is your hobby outside of being a superintendent? And when do you have time to do it?
So my hobby outside of work, you know, I try to keep a good workout routine going. So I like to walk. It gives me time to think. It gives me time to listen to my music. Gives me time to reflect on the day. So I love walking and running. And so I try to get as much exercise as I can in. And then I love to play golf. I'm not very good at it, but I'm working every day to be better. Even if I'm not playing, I'm kind of thinking about it and practicing in my mind. So I spend a lot of time playing golf. I want to be good at everything that I do. And even in my recreation, I try to put a lot of energy and effort into being good. So anytime I can play golf, I'm out there, and count me in to play golf. So thank you for your questions. You always ask such good questions. I love this part of the podcast. It gives me an opportunity to really interact with our audience in a different way and on another level. So keep the questions coming. Thank you. Today, I have an awesome guest on the podcast, one of our principals in the school district, Miss Jaimie Geis. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much
Give
for
the
having
applause. To clap, 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 clap. I'm really excited to spend some time talking with you today. We're going to talk about a lot of things, but first, just for the audience, just kind of give us, you know, a history of your journey in Fort Bend ISD. We go back, but I'm going to mention something about that here in a little bit.
me. Okay. I came to Fort Bend, landed in Fort Bend right after college. It was my very first job. I started teaching here.
Wow.
Decided that I wanted to continue my education and went to University of Houston and got my mid-management
Go
and principal
Cougs.
certification.
Yeah.
So after teaching a while, I became an administrator in Fort Bend. Actually started in middle school and then made my way to elementary. And then, you know, I've been doing it 31 years. Have been here ever since.
That's awesome. So is elementary kind of your niche?
Oh, absolutely. That's my forte.
Yeah. What is it about, you know, it's about us. It's kind of funny. Some of us land in middle school, and middle school is our niche. And then there are others that say, oh, no, not middle school for me. It's elementary or high school. How did that land with you?
I think it's the great spot. We get to help these kiddos out as their journey into school starts and help shape their little minds before we send them off to secondary school.
Yeah. So a lot of people kind of may not necessarily know, but I got my start in leadership beyond the campus level in Fort Bend ISD. So I grew up in Houston from Klein. And so I come here and I get to be assistant superintendent. I was here 2006, I think, to 2012. But that's when we first connected. Your school was in my area back at that time. So it's just been good to see your journey and you do great things. You've been doing great things even from just the time that I first met you. Not surprised that you're where you are now. So leadership, you've been in leadership for a lot of years. You've seen a lot. This whole podcast is really about leadership. What have you learned about leadership? What do you like about leadership? What are the challenges in leadership?
Basically, one of the things that intrigues me most about leadership is the fact that every day is a new day. It's a great thing to teach our students and our teachers that every day can be a fresh start. We work really hard to try to help view the obstacles that come across our desks and our tables, our classrooms, as opportunities to help partner with our parents and, make sure that we can do what we can to make sure that we're doing what we can for our students.
Yeah.
They're why we're here.
Yeah, leadership is hard work. And it is not this nice, straight, easy path. It takes us sometimes around a lot of different corners to get the end result. How do you as a leader, how do you manage the ebb and flow and the ups and downs that all of us as leaders experience? What do you do to stay focused? What do you do to lead others that are all looking to you for direction?
Whenever we appear to be calm, we're not really calm. We're paddling like crazy underneath the water, just like that duck underwater.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's important that that our staff and our community view us as that leader, that competent person that we have, that they're entrusting our children with. So we try really hard to make sure that we are prepared for every single little thing that might pop up, and that we are able to respond, whatever comes our way.
Absolutely. Change. That's a big, big word. All of us have to deal with change in some shape, some form or fashion in our leadership journey. There's been a lot of change over the last year and a half or so since I've been here.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Being in Fort Bend for 31 years, we know that there's going to be change, and I'm excited to have you back in Fort Bend with us because we had a great chance to get to know you back in the day when we worked together. But bringing you back to this district at this time, I felt like it was just the right time, the right place. And you've brought some of the best people with you that have helped us with our journey and helped to shape our thinking and, help us trudge forward as a district.
Well, I appreciate that, but I got to give you some credit. You won't say this, but I'm going to say it. So not everybody embraces change in the same manner. You were able to really embrace the change, especially when we talk about the PAC, the professionalism, the accountability, creating a culture of accountability, and the communication piece. And so first, I want to thank you for embracing the change. But second, if you could just give me and our audience, those that are in leadership, just a little insight on how did you lead your campus and your teachers and those that you directly impact to really focus on the PAC and then focus on the changes that we were really implementing in the district?
I do feel like, the people that I work with at Sugar Mill are rock stars. They have the professionalism, they have the communication, and so I felt like that accountability piece was really where we needed to focus as a campus. It helped to guide our leadership journey. As a leadership team, we became a little more focused on the results that we were seeing and the little tweaks into our school day that we could continue to implement that would help us see the results that we wanted to see at the end.
Yeah. It's a testament to what happens when a leader sets high expectations and then establishes a culture of accountability and then supports those that are in the work with them. And really, that's what you have done. And when we talk about the ratings, I mean, we know that STAR is not the end-all, be-all. But it is important. Our students have to pass STAR. It is the state assessment. It is how many determine and evaluate the quality of schools in a district. And so it is very important. And so, to you and your staff, y'all's credit, y'all went from a C to an A. You got to tell us how you did that. There's so many leaders out there that are looking to improve their team, their department, their school. And it's a great benefit to hear someone who actually is doing the work, but not just someone that's talking about it. They're actually doing it, and the evidence is there to see. So you got to give us insight into what did you do to make that happen? It didn't just happen.
Right. A lot of hard work from the teachers and the staff. I know I can't brag about my school enough, but Sugar Mill Elementary, from the EA all the way to the lead custodian, there are people at my school that go above and beyond, and they really did embrace the challenge. The year before, we didn't have good results, and we had a very frank conversation about where we were and the fact that we were so much better than that, and our students could perform a lot better than they were, and we needed to make those changes. So we were super intentional about our actions and embracing some of the changes, and the new assessment that we implemented last year, the NWEA map, using that as a springboard for growth for all of our students. And then you also challenged us to have our students make a year and a half's worth of growth.
Yeah,
and
you got to tell me about that.
Yeah.
I know people had a lot to say about that
they
challenge.
did. Yes, and I had the same thought. I was like, telling my staff, y'all are not going to believe this, but this is our charge. It came to life. It really did come to life. And knowing that we were going to have some support measures in place to help us measure that along the way really, really helped to bring it forth at the end for our students.
That's awesome. So when you think about unpacking what you just said, there's a lot of power there. The first thing I heard you mention really is the leader being willing to have the crucial conversation. That's hard for a lot of leaders to do, because some leaders are so focused on being liked versus maybe being respected that it's hard to have the crucial conversation. Well, you had some incredible changes on your campus, and one of the first things you highlighted it was your ability to sit down with your staff and just say, we can do better and we can do more. And I don't want to move by that too quickly, because there's power in that. Not a lot of leaders are able to do that just as easily as you did. And so that's a credit to your leadership. And then the other thing is, that I heard you talk about really is the collaboration. It wasn't like just you.
It had nothing to do with me,
Absolutely.
actually.
It had everything to do with you, but you created the environment for everyone to be able to embrace the charge and make that happen. And so that's a good thing. Other things that, just from a leadership perspective, for those out there looking for nuggets to improve whatever it is they are responsible for, what else or what other things, based on your experience, would you share with all of us?
I think focused classroom walks really was the key for our ILT. From that perspective, being intentional about measuring, how often we got in, how frequently did we provide feedback that would impact instruction. And I think those conversations and just focusing our learning as a leadership team really helped to drive that forward for us as a leadership team.
That's good. For our audience who may not know what an ILT is, what is that?
Yes. It's our instructional leaders. It's a a math specialist, a literacy specialist. We also have an L specialist, which is our English language learner specialist that is on our team, the assistant principal, the principal. We also invite sometimes our campus compliance coordinator who works with special education as well as our counselor to come in and help support. It truly is a group effort, on our campus. And I love depending on them and relying on them and setting forth the challenge and working through it together.
That's good. Well, you've had like this tremendous growth and surge of improvement at your campus. I'm always curious what other leaders do to keep themselves motivated in good times and in challenging times, because we all have it. We all experience good times. We all experience challenging times. What are the things that you do? Let's kind of first focus in on the areas where, how do you motivate yourself? How do you keep yourself going as a leader?
First of all, I think it's very important to work hard at work and then play hard at home. I really do try to separate the things that I'm doing at work and leave home for home. It's important to be able to protect that space for yourself and know that you are ready to be the best, wife, daughter, mother, sister, friend, to others outside of the school day. And then it makes you even more ready to be the best leader that you can be when you get to school.
That's right. And then challenges, which we all face.
Yes.
And sometimes certain challenges last longer than others. Sometimes you could have a bad day, or maybe you could have a bad week, or maybe, hopefully not too many bad months, but we all experience that. How do you push through that? What would you share with other leaders that have worked for you that it could be the very thing that they need to hear today to be ready for tomorrow?
Absolutely. Positivity is just the bottom line. You've got to lead and guide each day, start each day with a gratitude walk. Know your people, love on your people. I can walk through the hallways in the morning and tell, who's had a bad day, who's, not really set up for learning and might need a minute, and just knowing that it's okay to be real. We're going to support you through that. We're going to do it together. Positivity is difficult sometimes. You have to be very intentional with the things that you're saying and how you're saying it, because it does come from a place of the heart, right? But it's so important. There's nothing more important than having a listening ear ready to go for anyone that needs it. If it's a parent that walks in that needs to be heard, or, has a problem that we need to help solving, we've got to be in that mindset that I'm going to listen and I'm going to do what I can to help support you.
Absolutely. The Sugar Mill community is so very fortunate to have you as a leader. What would you say to your community who's going to be watching this?
Oh, I
your
love
students and your parents and your teachers.
I love it. I can't brag enough about the Sugar Mill community. It really is a family and a true community school, and I love the fact that they have helped me embrace the challenge of helping our students make growth. I would challenge all of our Fort Bend ISD community schools, not just mine, but all of our parents and the community, to just get involved in schools. Let students understand that we as parents and community members value what Fort Bend ISD is putting out there, and we want them to experience success. It's going to take a lot of hard work to read with your children every night and make sure that you are putting in the work as a parent, not just sending your children to school. We can't rely on that. The teachers really are working themselves so hard every single day, day in and day out, and it having them understand that that we need their help and they should lean in, even though it's hard and difficult as a parent. Lean in and let's get the work done together because our children are worth it.
Awesome. Now that's the way to end right there. Well, let me tell you, it has been so awesome having you here today. So many leadership nuggets that you shared, ones that I'll be reflecting on, and I'm sure members of the audience who will watch our podcast, they also will be reflecting on that. It just reinforces how important it is to set the tone, how important it is for leaders to remember their own mindset and their own focus and investing in themselves, but also investing in others. You also talked about the ability to have the crucial conversation and set expectations. I mean, there's so much there. I mean, there's probably a book in there somewhere. But I appreciate you sharing that with our leaders and our community and our audience. And so it's just an awesome honor to have Ms. Geis here. She's a top-notch leader in our district, top-notch principal. We're excited that she is leading Sugar Mill, but not only just Sugar Mill, but is a model for other principals in our school district, other leaders in our school district. So it's been an awesome show today. This is the Superintendent Podcast, SuperIntentional, where we are intentional about leadership and making positive change in Fort Bend ISD.